Edmund, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay, it's live now, Nolly.
All right. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Asia, if you wouldn't mind doing a roll call and then letting me know when you're finished. You can go through the way we've been doing it for the past 2 weeks.
Okay, hey, so I'm gonna call your name, and if you could please say here, and so that this goes quickly, if you could actually like pay attention, that'd be great. Okay. Awa? Okay.
Here, sorry.
Mason?
Here.
David Gonzalez?
Here.
Leslie?
Here.
Jalen? Haas?
Here.
Talawanimi? Kendall?
Here.
Louise? Gia?
I'm here.
Manuel?
Here.
Merv? Tessie?
Here.
Shannon?
Here.
Anthony?
Here.
Charles?
Here.
David?
Here.
Daniel? Edmund? Carmen?
Here.
Jared?
Here.
Nicolette? Tiana?
Here.
Nadira? Helen? Jessica?
Here.
Amaya?
Present.
James?
Here.
Taylor?
Here.
Jocelyn?
Here.
Charles Sparks? Okay.
Thank you, Asia. Could someone make a motion for the approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve the minute.
Second.
Thank you. Can I get approval of the agenda?
So
Motion
moved.
to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Moving straight into it, we have student forum. Also, Asia, before that, Daniel just reported that he's here. Moving to student forum, I believe we have Milan here tonight to speak. So if someone could yield their time to him.
I yield my time.
Good evening, Senate. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Glad to hear. I come to you today to address concerns regarding Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity, which is engaged in hazing activities and activities that violate our student code of conduct and violate our overall goals and vision as a university. I'll now ask either Parliamentarian Jesse or Irving to deliver a statement that I've prepared for y'all just to outline some of these concerns.
I'll read it.
You may want to share your screen just so people can read along if possible.
Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and preface this with any name that is provided in this letter has been approved by the student whose name is mentioned, and other names have been removed in order to protect students who may have violated the code of conduct as a sign of respect.
I'm not on my laptop, so Irving, can you share it while I read it? Or whoever has access to the document.
Ali, it's shared.
Yeah, can you share with her?
Yeah, I'll share with her.
I have access. I just need someone to share the screen. Thank you, Ali. To the UNC Greensboro community, from Nolan Novakovich, November 8th, 2020, Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity hazing. Hazing is defined by UNC Greensboro as any action taken or situation created intentionally or unintentionally, whether on or off university premises, to produce mental or physical discomfort, embarrassment, harassment, or ridicule is considered hazing, regardless of the willingness of the participant. As you will be made aware, I experienced hazing and intimidation while an associate member of the Lambda Chi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated from September 2019 to October 2019. In November 2019, I spoke with the Office of Student Rights and Responsibilities regarding these organizations' violations to their university hazing policy at the time. I didn't feel comfortable bringing forth these allegations. Members of Lambda Chi Alpha employed intimidation tactics to ensure my silence. In November 2019, I was under extreme mental pressure. I had been publicly dropped by Lambda Chi Alpha. I was struggling academically. I failed a course and earned by the lowest ever GPA. Additionally, I lost many friends after I was no longer in the process of becoming a brother. Considering all of this, my mental health was unstable and I could not handle the pressure of a formal investigation. I have grown and developed both personally and professionally. I now know that I am obligated to seek justice. Within this letter, I will explain in detail, to the best of my ability, the instances of hazing and intimidation I was unfairly subjected to at the hands of people who supposedly wanted to welcome me into their brotherhood. I shared this information with the university officials, yet limited action was taken because the university was more concerned with upholding systems of ableism and white privilege. I expect that the university will reevaluate their decision in regards to the violation of the Student Code of Conduct explained here within. Furthermore, I expect that Lambda Chi Alpha and its involved and complicit members will be held accountable with a 3-year probation. This organization does not embody the values of our university and therefore should be removed from the Spartan community. Intimidation. Intimidation is the primary reason I did not wish to cooperate with an investigation at the time. Brothers of Lambda Chi Alpha, specifically brothers in the blanks, stated, "Curtis has our back. He's a brother." Additionally, when I asked jokingly, "How can you be so sure?" Brother blank explained he needed a Greek affiliation to get this job, so we initiated him because it benefits us to have a brother running FSL to protect us. Curtis references Curtis Tarver, the Associate Director of Campus Activities and Programs and Fraternity and Sorority Life in the Office of Campus Activities and Programs. As a hopeful higher education administration and student affairs professional, I had reservations to openly bring forward these serious allegations in fear that Tarver would dismiss my claims and ruin my professional aspirations. Challenging a student affairs professional is intimidating, especially when you are repeatedly told that the individual is going to protect the organization you plan to accuse. I'm speaking up now because no student should be subjected to the poor treatment I experienced. Stepping forward now makes me no less of an exceptional student affairs professional. However, this realization took significant self-reflection. Considering Tarver's affiliation with Lambda Chi Alpha, I expect that this process will not involve him. Furthermore, I expect that the university will conduct a rigorous review of Tarver's actions to determine if bias is indeed present. Hazing. Pens. The associate member process was humiliating and a violation of the university hazing policy. The associate member process is Lambda Chi Alpha's new member education process. This process is embarrassing and creates mental and physical discomfort. Firstly, the process was degrading. Associate members were required to wear a special pen at all times. Brothers of the organization regularly humiliated associate members publicly if they were spotted without the pen. Lambda Chi Alpha's new member educator, Brother Blank, explained the rules surrounding the pen, saying you must wear the pen at all times, except for the 4 S's: sleep, sex, shower, sports. On multiple occasions, I forgot to wear the pen and was subjected to public humiliation. On one occasion, Brother Blank noticed I didn't have my pen on. He asked, "Where's your pen?" while he proceeded to flick my left nipple with his finger over my t-shirt. On another occasion, witnessed by my supervisor, coordinator for Residence Life, Diana L. Aguilon, Brother Blank noticed I was not wearing my pen and shouted at me, "Where's your pen, AM?" This incident occurred while I was actively handling an emergency in my role as resident advisor with the Office of Housing and Residence Life. Lastly, on another occasion, Brother Blank noticed I was not wearing my pen in the Elliott University Center Chick-fil-A. Brother Blank demanded that I return to my apartment to get the pen. I protested because it was storming outside. Brother Blank didn't care. This repeat humiliation and embarrassment is degrading to an individual, and it makes them feel as if a pen is more important than who they are as a person. Visions. As a part of the associate member process, associate members reported to the Lambda Chi Alpha house on Wednesday evenings from 8:30 to anywhere between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. These events were considered a part of the new member education process and referred to as visions. These late evenings were challenging to one's personal schedule and interfered with one's morning schedule, resulting in significant class absences. Throughout the associate member process, my academic success was impacted. The process placed significant undue mental stress on me because of the hazing and being publicly humiliated on repeat occasions. The topics of visions varied. However, all started the same 2 activities and were hosted in the same environment. Each evening, associate members were required to remove their tie and use it as a blindfold. During visions, associate members were physically touched by members of Lambda Chi Alpha in order to move us around their linking. This process was forceful and disorienting. I was forced to wear a blindfold, therefore I could not directly know the people who forcefully pushing and pulling me around were. However, I do know that Brother Blank, 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 and Blank engaged in the activity based on voice recognition. Members would ask the associate members to stand for extended periods of time in Lambda Chi Alpha's basement. We would be blindfolded for the majority of the time. Educational activities would take place throughout the house. This required ascending 1 to 2 flights of stairs, blindfolded in the dark and with loud music playing. During each vision, a disorienting environment was created. The members would play loud music on repeat in order to further intimidate and disorient associate members. The house lights would remain off the majority of the time. In some situations, candlelight or light lighting would be allowed. Any brutality of physical nature is outlined as a form of hazing within UNC Greensboro's Fraternity and Sorority Life Handbook. When members would move associate members from their place in the basement, they would hold them by the shoulders and forcibly push, pull, and turn associate members in a zigzag pattern to the destination in the house. On one occasion, Brother Blank so carelessly pushed and pulled me around the basement that I fell ascending the steps from the basement to the main level. Combine the blindfolds, loud music, dark environment, and the jerking around, and you understand how this experience creates mental and physical discomfort. Any activity or situation which subjects an individual to extreme mental or physical stress is outlined as a form of hazing in the Fraternity and Sorority Life Handbook. Any activity where individuals are forced to answer questions or endure any personal indignity is outlined as hazing in the Fraternity and Sorority Life Handbook. Each vision began with a verbal assessment of the associate members. Associate members will be required to memorize information and regurgitate it upon request. When and if associate members presented the information incorrectly, they would be required to start over or wait extended periods of time. If the associate members got something wrong, the new member educator, Brother Blank, would walk away and return as he wished. During this time, regardless of the duration, associate members were required to stand. At the first vision on September 25th, 2019, I brought my seeing eye guide dog. My guide dog was required to lay on the concrete floor of Lambda Chi Alpha basement while I stood throughout the entirety of the evening. Throughout visions, each associate member was individually taken to engage in the ritual activity. When it became my turn, I was asked by Brother Blank to tie my guide dog to the pole in the Lambda Chi Alpha basement. This is a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act, as Brother Blank prevented me from utilizing a federally mandated reasonable accommodation. After this denial of accommodations, I felt uncomfortable bringing my guide dog to visions. On October 16, 2019, associate members were blindfolded, placed in cars, and driven to an undisclosed location. Associate members were instructed to place their blindfolds on as soon as the car left the driveway of the Lambda Chi Alpha house. I was driven to an undisclosed location, which I found out to be a nearby park by Brother Blank and Brother Blank. In complete transparency, I cannot be completely sure these two individuals drove the car as I was blindfolded and loud music was played. Not only did their brothers require associate members to be transported in such a manner, the driving of the brothers was reckless. At one point, Brother Blank sharply turned into what appeared to be a parking lot and swerved in circles multiple times as a method of disorienting the associate members. Associate members were transported to the park in order to be revealed to their big brothers. After the reveal at the park, drinking was all but required upon returning to the house. Brothers stood around associate members in a tight circle chanting a drinking song, which included the line, "Drink, motherfucker, drink," repeatedly until the alcohol provided by their big brother was consumed. This is not an excessive amount of alcohol, typically a few shots or shotgunning a beer, depending on the traditions of that fraternity family. Brother Blank informed associate members at the start of this activity that drinking was not required. However, simultaneously, Brother Blank and Brother Blank shouted pussies, interrupting Brother Blank. Brother Blank handed me a glass containing a mixed drink of gin and juice. As the drink was handed to me, the close circle of brothers closed in and the drinking chant began. This created an intimidating environment, which all but required the associate member to consume the alcohol. Lambda Chi Alpha has a national policy requiring dry recruitment. View this policy here. This activity has not only violated the university hazing policy, but also violates the organization's national standards. Extensive exposure to elements is outlined as a form of hazing in the UNC Greensboro Fraternity and Sorority Life Handbook. As a part of a Wednesday evening educational sessions, associate members were again blindfolded and forced to remain in the Lambda Chi Alpha's basement with loud music playing on repeat. On October 9, 2019, associate members were required to hold handfuls of ice for over an hour. As the ice melted, brothers would replace the ice in the associate member's hand. Associate members were blindfolded, therefore I cannot disclose who was engaged in this activity. However, prior to being blindfolded, I noticed, as at all other Wednesday evening events, all brothers of the organization were present. If they didn't participate directly, they were complicit to what occurred. Complicity is compliance. The following day, I experienced hyperthermic effects on my hands from exposure to the ice. Additionally, associate members were forced to wait in the rain outside Lambda Chi Alpha's house on October 23, 2019, waiting for visions to begin. During a September 25, 2019 evening educational session, associate members were required to participate in a ritual activity. During standing and engaging in the activity, brothers held a candle inches away from the face of associate members. On this occasion, Brother Blank walked me around in a zigzag pattern and up a flight of steps, blindfolded to the main level of the house, where I was forced to stand while Brother Blank held a candle so close to my face that I could feel the heat, so that the heat could be felt as Brother Blank read a passage. Integrity, National Representative Visit. Members of Lambda Chi Alpha required associate members to act without integrity during a yearly visit by a national representative to the campus. Brothers of Lambda Chi Alpha required associate members to lie. The visit took place during the week of September 30th through October 4th, 2019. On October 2nd, it was a national requirement that a specific percentage of the membership report to a meeting with a national representative. Brother Blank forced the signatures of numerous brothers on the attendance sheet under my observation. Additionally, during the duration of the visit, the wearing of the associate member pin requirement was suspended because this requirement was not supported by the national organization. Furthermore, during interviews with the national representative, associate members were instructed to deny any mention of visions, as this is not a supported part of the new member education process by the national organization. Gender-based harassment. In mid-September, Gia Bourne and I attended a party at the Lambda Chi Alpha house to celebrate my birthday. Upon returning home, Gia informed me that she had lost her breast at the house. After recalling the evening's events, I can reasonably determine that the breast was lost after Gia had fallen down steps in the basement, which are not up to fire code regulation. The following week, Gia, Chi Omega Sister Blank, and I talked about the party, and while in the offices of the Student Government Association, Gia disclosed to Sister Blank she had fallen down the stairs. And this conversation most likely occurred on a Wednesday in late September, because these were Gia and I's office hour days. Sister Blank is close to a member of Lambda Chi Alpha, one of whom is her boyfriend. Additionally, Sister Blank is a member of Chi Omega and a Crescent Girl with the Lambda Chi Alpha, a very high honor. In late September 2019, I overheard a conversation by members of Chi Omega at the Chick-fil-A in the Elliott University Center pertaining to this incident. Members of the Chi Omega, identifiably by lettered shirts, said that Brother Blank and Brother Blank found Gia's breast after a party at the Lambda Chi Alpha house. From what I overheard, Brother Blank and Brother Blank found the breast while cleaning the house, kicked the breast around on the front porch as if it was a soccer ball and not a body part, and subsequently, Brother Blank and Brother Blank placed the breast in the house mailbox while others observed. I chose to bring this to Gia's attention in mid-May 2020 because, as a friend, I felt I had done her an injustice by not doing so sooner. I never shared my knowledge of this incident with others. I wanted Gia to have the option to control her own story, as every survivor should. I regret not bringing this to her attention sooner. In an effort to gain additional information about the incident, I reached out to Brother Blank in early August. On August 6, 2020, at 3 p.m. EST, Brother Blank and I met to discuss this incident. Brother Blank is a member of Lambda Chi Alpha. Brother Blank verbally informed me brothers had found the breast and played with it. When I pushed Brother Blank for further details, he became very defensive and hostile, leading me to believe that there is more that the organization is hiding, and has instructed their membership to lie, which is not an atypical behavior from this organization's leadership. In an attempt to normalize victimization, Brother Blank said, if she didn't want it to be played with, she shouldn't have left it at the party. Brother Blank also said, how many times can you stir the pot without people thinking it's too much? Additionally, Brother Blank said, people stopped liking you after you caused repeated drama. Brother Blank's comments are a form of intimidation because they create a false narrative that no one is going to support or believe a victim because the victim acted in a manner that resulted in the subsequent event. This is a form of victim shaming that is unacceptable in our community. Additionally, Brother Blank perpetuates a false narrative that people have a disliking or have a vendetta against Gia by saying she's a repeat source of drama. It is disturbing that not only did these gentlemen play with an intimate item that doesn't belong to them, but they clearly spoke about it to others in Greek life because there's no other justifiable reason that a Chi Omega member should be further gossiping about this incident in a public place. This is not only disheartening, but it interferes with Gia's ability to be true to the person she is, as this outs her to people who may not have been privy to her gender identity. It is interesting that after sharing with Sister Blank that Gia fell down the stairs, other members of Sister Blank's organization are gossiping about the breasts and how it belonged to Gia. This leads me to believe that Sister Blank connected Gia's falling down the stairs with the breast her brother Blank most likely informed her he had found. Furthermore, Brother Blank story confirmed that the breast was found and played with by brothers. Risk management. According to the chairman of risk management, Brother Blank, the chapter was required to complete a series of educational sessions. On repeat occasion during chapter, Brother Blank would state that we held an educational session and instructed the membership to lie on its existence if ever asked. Inclusivity. Insensitive environment to the queer community were regularly created by Brothers of Lambda Chi Alpha. Brother Blank, without asking permission, created a Lambda Gays group me with brothers and associate members who he felt were part of the queer community. This outed associate members and created an environment of judgment. Brother Blank at one point misidentified the sexuality of an associate member and placed him in the chat without his consent. Brother Blank, Lambda Chi Alpha social chairman, created a presentation during chapter to teach members how to identify if someone was a part of the queer community. Brother Blank justified this presentation as an important way to create an equal balance of heterosexuals and homosexuals at Lambda parties. Brother Blank felt it was important for those who were in charge of letting people into the party to know how to identify gay people so that they didn't impact the boy to girl ratio. Brother Blank implied that gay men didn't count as equal to heterosexual men. When asked by a member how to identify gay men, Brother Blank explained, "You probably know them, but the way they dress, talk, or act fruity." House. Contrary to university policy, Lambda Chi Alpha has an official fraternity house located at 404 South Josephine Boyd Street in Greensboro, North Carolina. The organization's leadership instructs associate members to inform university officials if ever asked that the house is only a place where coincidentally a few brothers live together. However, evidence from within the house proves otherwise. Within the home, you can observe chapter composites, photo rosters of membership dating back many years, displayed on the walls and in common spaces such as the living room and staircase area. Additionally, the basement is decorated with wooden Greek letters of the organization's and the organization's name, Lambda Chi Alpha, spelled out on the wall with LED lights. I do not know who lives in the house now. However, at the time, Brother Blank, Brother Blank, Brother Blank, Brother Blank, Brother Blank, and Brother Blank, and one other brother who I cannot recall lived in the house as November 2019. Retaliation. In September 2019, Blank, a Crescent girl of Lambda Chi Alpha, had made racially charged statements as an officer of the University of North Carolina Greensboro Student Government Association. I was obligated to hear these allegations, which were brought forward to the Student Senate by a student. Blank, during a student forum in this meeting, significant back and forth had occurred between students and members of the UNC Greensboro Student Government Association. Much controversy had occurred over the fact of if a letter of impeachment had to be legitimately submitted against Blank. I interrupted the debate to ask Blank if she had or had not been made aware of the letter by then student body president Blank. I followed up my question with the statement, "Blank, stop lying. Did you or did you not see a letter?" At this point in the meeting, Blank had become physically upset and through tears said, "Yes, I knew." The backlash by students regarding Blank's racially charged comments had grown significantly. On the day in which the voting regarding Blank's impeachment indictment, Blank resigned, followed by a resignation of Brother Blank. Subsequently, Blank had been brought before the Student Senate on an impeachment charge. Brothers of Lambda Chi Alpha attempted to interfere with the impeachment process by repeatedly messaging student government officers using the Senate meeting. Brother Blank employed intimidation tactics to encourage associate members who were also part of the Student Government Association to ask specific questions and vote in a specific manner. These communications were facilitated through the Lambda Chi Alpha GroupMe. The interference with the governance became so significant that Lambda Chi Alpha Brother Blank deleted the GroupMe group. In the Senate meeting, I publicly disagreed with the options of members of Lambda Chi Alpha. I publicly supported the impeachment and removal of office of Blank. Members of the Lambda Chi Alpha retaliated against me for having a dissenting opinion. Lambda Chi Alpha's executive committee called me to answer for my actions in the Senate meeting. Lambda Chi Alpha was enraged by the fact that I had publicly questioned Blank regarding her racially charged statements. The executive committee did not appreciate that I put a Crescent Girl in such an uncomfortable position. By this point in my associate member process, I had not been educated on the role of a Crescent Girl. The executive committee required that I submit a letter of apology to Brother Blank and Blank. I felt that I had the right to my own opinion and did not need to fall in line with the opinions of the organization which I joined. Therefore, I refused to submit the letters. Lambda Chi Alpha voted to remove me from the associate member process as a direct form of retaliation for having a differing opinion. I sought out the truth, even if it involved a Crescent Girl. Yet, the expectation was set that I would support and protect Blank from the democratic process outlined by the standard operating procedures of the UNC Greensboro Student Government Association.
Thank you, Jesse. To recap, I brought these allegations to the university in official capacity on August 2nd, 2020. After an investigation that had drug on for the better half of a semester, the university decided that these claims were not sufficient enough hazing to warrant real action. They chose to only provide a sanction of restricted participation to Lambda Chi Alpha, effective now through next fall. This doesn't even remove this organization, doesn't even ask them to justify their actions, doesn't provide them an adequate punishment for the mental, psychological, and physical harm that they did to me and to others. I believe that this is unright and unjust. As a student, I learned tirelessly. As a student leader, I've led diligently. And as a Spartan, I lead with integrity. When I asked the university to be diligent, tireless, and have integrity, they failed me. They failed me as a student, and they failed to protect students who will attempt to join this organization after me. You as a student government association have an obligation to support and protect students, for the students, by the students. Thank you for listening to this story. During new business, I'll present to you legislation that will ask for the formal probation of this organization for up to 3 years. We'll discuss it further in new business. If you have any questions, concerns, I'm happy to answer them now.
If anyone has any questions, you can just drop X in the chat and I can just call on you. Jesse?
Not a question, rather a statement. Just thank you, Milan, for sharing your story and being willing to share.
I would like to second.
I believe Austin and Irving in the same room. That's why their microphones are flipping each other. But I definitely believe he was saying he does second what Jesse said, and I do as well. Does anyone else have any statements or questions for Milan? Seeing there's none, I do appreciate your time, Milan, and I do look forward to seeing your piece of legislation in new business. We're going to go ahead and move forward into old business first. So firstly, we have the ASG legislation that Austin did bring up last week. We don't have to read that again, but Austin, if you'd want to go over it and see if anyone had any questions or go into discussion or things like that. He's in the bathroom. Then, not to waste any time, we can just go to the voting day legislation first. So either Kellen or Saheem, if you'd like to go over your piece of legislation and any corrections that were made.
Okay, I'll share my screen and Kellen will talk.
Hey everybody, I'm going to be presenting the second reading of the election day legislation. Do y'all want me to read the whole thing or just what was added?
All you have to do is just talk about the yellow, so the signatories, and then there's a new whereas clause.
Okay, so we added a bunch of signatories. Thank you to everybody. We've got quite a list of names there. Thank you all for supporting this. I really appreciate it. If you want to scroll down, Saheem. So we did add a clause where it reads, whereas time that students may spend at the voting polls as either a voter or poll worker can be exhausting. We would like that professors take this day in consideration and not have assigned work due on election day. And that is what we have for resolutions or amendments to this bill. Are there any questions?
If you would like, we can move into a period of 5-minute discussion, questioning. I don't think there's any questions, seeing that no one has dropped an X in the chat. It's up to you all if you would like to move into a period of voting.
Yeah, can I make a?
They had to make a motion, yes.
Okay, I'll second.
Does someone make a motion, please?
Motion to move to voting.
Second.
All right, thank you. Jesse, if you wouldn't mind sending the link.
Also, do I need to continue to share my screen?
I don't think so, because there's no points of clarification or anything like that.
Also, Charles put something, Charles had an X in the chat. He has a friendly amendment.
Sorry. Then could you retract that motion, Kellen?
Retract the motion.
And then was it Edmund who made the second?
I retract it.
Okay. Charles, you had a friendly amendment?
Yeah, just asking Kellen or Saheem if you could add the first and second reading dates to the document.
Gotcha. I thought I did it earlier. I must have didn't. First reading was November 3rd. Oh, let me double check the 3rd. Was that last week? Yep, November. Second reading date is November 10th.
Also, Saheem, if someone could yield me their time.
I yield my time.
Thank you. Once you're done with that, would you mind scrolling up to see if you have the right legislation number? All right, yeah, you guys do. Could you scroll to the bottom? All right, appreciate it, Sam.
Saheem, could you also add the first reading status as well to that
Was that table?
table? Yes, sir.
Table.
Josh, this should be 05.
Oh, 05.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry. Just
Oh, you're good.
Does anyone else have any other comments? Seeing that there's none, could someone make a motion to move into voting, please?
Make a motion to move into voting.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Thanks, Daniel. Once again, Jesse, if you could just send it out.
It's already in the chat.
Thank you. While we're waiting, how's everyone doing?
Pretty good. I made it to Virginia safe and sound, and we ended up rescuing another dog. So there's that.
Hey, how many dogs do you have now?
Two. The first one we tried was cat aggressive, and so we had to return him back to the Humane Society. Yeah, we can't have that going on in the apartment. This other guy, we got him from a kill shelter, and he looks like a mini version of Roscoe. My girlfriend's bringing him as we speak. She'll be here in about an hour. I'll send you guys pictures when she gets here.
That'd be great.
I met you all.
Irving, how you doing? I heard you say something.
I said I am doing fantastic. Ali ham sandwich.
That's a lot of enthusiasm, sir.
It's been a great day.
I got a new car.
Oh, snap. Congratulations. What'd you get?
I have a 2011 Kia Soul.
Nice.
Yeah, it's my first car.
Oh, dang. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Congrats, Jared.
Thank y'all.
Asia, would you know
For anyone who likes Old Town wings, they finally got all their flavors back. So that's just a plug.
Asia, do you know how many senators are present tonight?
24.
24? Thank you. Merve, did you have something to say?
We have 20 people out of the 24, so the other 4 people could vote. That'd be great.
Thanks, Chelsea. Merve, you had an X on the chat. Did you have anything to say? She said, could we do formal communications and voting through emails and not through GroupMe? We could Jesse, is it harder or easier for you to send out the link in the email or GroupMe?
It's not in GroupMe. It was in the chat. It's a Google form. Does someone need to send me an email? Send it through email? If so, you can drop your email.
I figured it was in the chat, but I think Merve doesn't have access to it.
I just want to clarify. I'm talking about such as I'm in the finance committee. So they sometimes send some pools for us to vote, and I was just thinking for this votings that committee is working on, can we just make them through emails? Because I think it can be more professional, and also we can have a proof in our hands. So I think with the GroupMe, it's really hard to follow all the messaging. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Can you provide some more clarification? I mean, I can send it out to you through email. Also on the form, it has you put your name and your senator title. So I know it's voted.
So such as not the votings we do during senator meetings, but the votings we do under the committees.
I think that's up to your committee chair. Personally, you all can have a discussion about that.
Yeah, I don't think that we were able to come into same point. So also I think it's just doesn't seem to me professional. So because in the GroupMe messages, there are a lot of things going on, people talking about many things. Sometimes it's not related to SGA.
Someone yield the time to Austin, please, so he can respond.
I yield my time to Austin.
Hey, Merve. So what I would, since it seems like you're referring to about the voting within the finance committee, I'd recommend reaching out to Anthony, the finance chair, and have a conversation with him with how y'all can make that committee more functional for voting and whatnot. That's more fitting for everyone. That would be the best place to start with that. And if you need any help, definitely Ali can be a resource for that. Thanks.
So such as in the main group, SGA GroupMe. So you guys didn't send any emails related to in which committee we are. So thanks to other graduate student coordinator, I learned in which committee I am. So you are not sending any official emails, and then in the SGA GroupMe, even people talking about their dogs, cats, cars, do I have to read all of this messaging to get into point? Can I why I'm not getting any emails just informing me officially that I'm in that specific committee?
I'm not entirely sure about specifically if there would be an email for you to receive to know which committee you're in. You could definitely always ask Ali, but I'm pretty sure that, and this is probably more a question for Ali at this point, but we give committee assignments in one of the Senate meetings. So that's probably where it came from. I apologize that there's some miscommunication there. I don't believe we ever included committee assignments within the GroupMe, but we can definitely, work to make sure that gets to you and all the other new senators to make sure everybody's on the same page. I apologize for that.
Just a quick two things. Firstly, during, I believe, the first night you all were sworn in, or this second meeting that we had, I did share my screen and show which committees you all were in. So there's that. And then secondly, Merve, I don't want to silence you whatsoever. I definitely want to help you out and make sure you understand your committees and what you need and help you and all that stuff. But I feel like this should be discussed under senator announcements or discussions or senator forum or something like that.
Did someone join after the roll call? If you did, can you just like give me a verbal yes? Because I'm counting 25.
Yes, I joined after the roll call. I didn't. Last week we started at 7:30. I was just ready to start at 7:30 and forgot that we actually were going at 7 today. That's me.
Not a problem.
Who is that?
Kellen. Alrighty, in a vote to 23 to 2 to 0, this piece passes.
Congratulations, Kellen and Saheem. Definitely a great piece of legislation. Merve, did you have a question?
Yes. It's related to finance committee, and I tried to tell this couple times, but I just want to hear other SGA members too. So I think we need to update, especially Anthony and Treasurer Terrace. You guys, I think we need to update the finance documents in our Google folder, because we are looking at it and then there is no updated document representing the fall 2020 budget. So yeah, I will just request maybe everyone update their folders so we can see what also other committees do and then what finance committee really do, because I try to see the papers and even attached a couple of people over there. If they see Austin, Anthony, and Terrace, I try to attach them. So to see if can get updated documents, but I didn't get any response. I think it's not fair because not just me being in the finance committee, but I think everybody should be able to see the budget distribution whenever they want. Thank you.
Irving, did you have a point of order?
I was informed that I can't make a point of order, so never mind.
Anthony.
Hey, can you hear me? Irv, did you need to say something? No.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I just wanted to echo what Ali was saying, that this could be talked about in Senator forum or announcements, so we can move along with new business and old business.
Okay, I just wanted to address something. I don't know what documents are being referred to, but I will say that Austin gave me a call and we talked about it. And when he told me what documents what was like specifically needed, I put it into the drive. If there are any documents that I'm missing that you need to see, just email me and we'll be. As Terrence just put something in the chat, I'm not gonna look at it right now, but yeah, just email me and I'll be glad to help. It's never an issue. Thank you.
Edmund.
Sorry, just echoing what Irving said. Can we get back to I'm not trying to shut this conversation down, but we do have a student here who wants to bring up a piece of legislation. So I think it's our duty to make sure that we can get there so that they can present it.
For sure. And just to make sure that we're not silencing Merve's voice, you could definitely bring this up during student forum or student announcement, senator announcements or senator forum later on. So Austin, if you can go ahead and move into your piece of legislation as for ASG, if you'd like to go over it, anything you would like to add, and then we can go ahead and vote on it.
Yeah, Ali, could you share your screen?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Well, I will just say there were no revisions made from last week. The bill is in its same format. So if you're interested in asking any questions about it, I'm definitely more than willing to have those conversations and whatnot. But other than that, no changes. Thanks.
Austin, it's not under Senate legislation, is it?
It may be. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't checked the folder.
Because and it's not there. And Charles, did you have anything to add?
Yes. Excuse me. I was just going to ask if Austin could do the same as Kellen and Saheem and add the first and second reading, as well as the first reading status.
Austin, I can't find that piece of legislation. If you want to share it with me so I can pull it up.
Yeah, just give me a second. Let me pull it up and I can send it your way. Charles, could you do me a favor and could you add it to your folder for Senate legislation?
Not a problem.
Ali, I just shared it with you. So you should be able to see it right now. Let me know if you can or can't.
I got it. I'm about to share my screen.
Awesome.
Actually, Austin, it's telling me that I would need to be the author of the document to move it anywhere inside the 98 folder. I'm not sure if you or Ali have access to move it, but it's not letting me do it on my end without making a completely new copy.
Gotcha. Let me, I guess, just add it in there real quick.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And it should be in there now. It should be in there now. So if we, I guess, want to move into discussion or Q&A or anything like that.
Now we can move into a 5-minute period of question and answer. If anyone has anything to add, just please put an X in the chat. Charles.
Just a question. If you could scroll down just a tad bit. A little bit more. Right there is perfect. Where you see on the second whereas clause, it says for how finalists for institutional chancellorships. Just wanted to be certain chancellorships. Is that supposed to be like that?
Yes. Oh wait,
Gotcha.
am I muted? I may be. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's supposed to be like that.
All right, just making sure. I happened to catch that with my eye when I was trying to move it to my folder.
Appreciate it, Charles.
Also, Austin, if someone could yield me their time, please.
I yield my time to you.
Appreciate it. Could you add the number of the piece of legislation?
Yes, I can. Jesse just said it was SB 9806. So I'll just go ahead and update that.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Austin. Does anyone else have any questions? Gia?
Not a question, but motion to move into voting.
Second.
Any dissent?
Real quick, I think Merve was trying to put an X in the chat, but it was sent to me privately.
Okay. Could someone retract their motion?
Sure.
Could someone
I'll
retract?
retract my second.
Okay. Thank you. Merve, you had a question?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
My bad then.
Oh, you're good. Gia, would you like to make your motion again?
Motion to move into voting.
A second.
Second.
Thank you. Any dissent? Seeing none, we can go ahead and move into a period of voting. Jesse will send out the link once again, and please vote. I know this is kind of late, but Austin, did you have a submitted date or signatories?
The no signatories, but the submitted date is going to be the same as the first reading. I'll update that. Thank you.
Still need 2 more votes. I see that Charles wants to be a signatory, but I feel like if we did that, wouldn't we have to retract all the motions and all the voting?
It doesn't change the spirit of the piece, and I guess you're not changing like the actual meat of it, just adding him as a signatory.
I'm just double checking. Austin, you can go ahead and add me as well. One more vote, please. Just echoing Jesse.
I guess like this is like the one last call for sponsors or signatories. If anybody wants to be added, just let me know.
I'd like to be one.
Who was that?
That was Jared, as well as Sahin, and as well as Mason and Kaylee. And David Gonzalez and Carmen. So you can just put down the whole SGA. And Peyton. And Awa. And Leslie. Oh, I can't keep up with that. You missed Tiana, by the way.
Mason, what was your last name?
Newcomer.
You also miss David Gonzalez. Jesse, are we all in yet? Did Jesse leave the meeting?
My internet and power just went out, so give me a second.
No problem. Just making sure you're okay.
If everyone could just make sure that I spelled your name correctly, there's no typos or anything. I'm not a wonderful typer, so I may have made a mistake. Just make sure, and then we'll be all good.
I still need one person to vote. I'm about to call out everybody who has voted. So if you don't hear me call your name, then I need you to please fill out that form. So we have Tolowanami, Haas, Shannon, Kellen, Carmen, Gia, Tiana, Edmund, Amaya, Taylor, Daniel, Leslie, David, Awa, Jessica, Anthony, Jocelyn, David, Stevens, Manuel, James, Charles, Jared, Mason, and Kendall. So if you did not hear your name and you're a senator that's currently here, I need you to vote in that form, please, and thank you.
I know Lorenz was on the call at the beginning, or Charles, but I don't see him anymore. Lorenz Sparks, or Charles Sparks, I'm sorry.
Jesse, I can go ahead and call it.
Are you guys okay with that? And then I'll just announce with 24. Please speak now.
Yeah, okay, can we get some more people just to make sure? Okay. Well, in a vote of 24 responses, we have 21 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 abstain. So the bill passes. Congratulations. We can go ahead and move into new business. We do have that piece. Milan, you had something to say?
I yield my time to Milan.
Ali, if you could please share the document I shared with you via email.
Yes.
So first off, Senate, thank you so much for your attentiveness. I'm not one to regularly share my emotions, as everyone who knows me knows. And sometimes it's hard to convey that what I shared with you today really did hurt. It really did. Being hazed, being treated less than, not being allowed to use my guide dog. All of these things were really challenging, and they really took a mental toll. I was first sad, and then I was angry, and then I built up the courage to take what I experienced to the university, a university that I've worked so hard for 4 years. And I expected that this university would be supportive, but their results were disappointing. And everyone knows that disappointment is worse than anger. I can be mad at you, but when I'm disappointed at you, that's a whole new level of disrespect. And when this university decided to come back with, oh, we're just going to limit some of Lambda's Chi Alpha's participation on campus for 1 year, that hurt, because you didn't take anything I said into consideration, but yet you made me tell my story to multiple university officials in multiple interviews, multiple investigations, as if retelling that didn't hurt and wasn't painful. So I come to you today with this legislation to formally make a request from the student government to have university administration reconsider their decision and formally place Lambda Chi Alpha on probation for 3 years. I'll pass it back over to Edmund to kind of explain more about the piece. And then as a student, it is my prerogative to bring forward legislation to the Student Government Association in new business in compliance with our standard operating procedures. But it does require a sponsor from the Senate. So before I pass it over to Edmund, I'll ask, can I get a sponsor for this legislation?
I'll sponsor it.
Same. You have Gia and Edmund.
Awesome. Edmund, if you want to take over presenting.
All right, awesome. So I will read this legislation. So SB 9807, a resolution to formally request the immediate suspension of the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity. Let's see, author Milan, sponsors me. So the Student Senate of UNC Greensboro Student Government Association adopts the following resolution. Whereas the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha's fraternity's actions of hazing, discrimination, and gender-based harassment run counter to those of diversity and inclusion, which are integral to UNC Greensboro. And whereas the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha pleaded responsible for violating the hazing policy under the Student Code of Conduct in October 2020, the university issued a sanction which premused, I can't talk today, hazing culture, victim shaming, and white privilege. And whereas the allegations of Title IX violations were brought forward by concerned students against the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha, evidence of gender-based harassment was present, and the university has failed to protect trans women in Greek life despite the epidemic of murders against trans women. And whereas during the new member education process, the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha denied a student with a visual disability the accommodation of participating with the student's Seeing Eye Guide Dog. This runs counter to our mission of fostering a community of inclusivity and equity. And whereas actions like these will not be tolerated within our community, the university delivered an insufficient sanction against the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha, a victim of mental, physical, and psychological hazing deserves better. And whereas, and enacted upon passage of this resolution with the highest endorsement and encouragement, the Student Government Association of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro for the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity to be suspended for 3 academic years beginning spring 2021, and all members in the Phi Theta Zeta chapter of Lambda Chi Alpha who hold leadership positions within the Fraternity and Sorority Life Association and the Interfraternity Council be removed from office effective immediately. So Milan, do you want me to speak a little bit more on this, or would you like to talk more?
Yeah, go ahead. I kind of said my piece, so you can go ahead and say yours.
All right, so speaking right now, I'm not speaking as a Greek. As many of you know, I am a proud member of the Rho Beta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, but right now I'm not speaking on behalf of them. Simply speaking on behalf as chair for the Diversity, Inclusion, Equity Committee, I think some of these actions that were taken against Milan are unacceptable, and they should never be allowed on our campus. The simple fact that they prevented Milan from having access to his guide dog speaks volume for really what happened, and it's a little disappointing and also alarming, the fact that through everything that Milan has presented to us, the university said that there is not sufficient evidence. To that sense, I question what is sufficient evidence if a firsthand account of hazing is, that's not taken seriously, then what would be? I don't want to go too much, because I don't want it to get off of the narrative that Milan has given us, but I think that it would be an injustice if we did not vote yes on this. And I also think just because this is a very serious situation, that when we, rather than waiting next week to vote, that we vote on this week so we can get this to FSL so they can reconsider their decision and actually take serious actions against Lambda Chi Alpha, because I just don't think that a 1-year probationary suspension where they can still be on campus and still, act as a fraternity, I don't think that is any punishment. I think that's simply a slap on the wrist. And being honest, I don't know if this was another fraternity in a different council, if the same actions would have been taken. So it raises a lot of questions. And I definitely think that we need to do our part to make sure that, Milan can get the right justice that he deserves, and also to make sure that, other fraternities don't think that they can act in this manner and they'll just get swept under the rug.
By just taking the action of restricting Lambda Chi Alpha's ability to participate in events on campus, the university sent a message that this type of behavior is acceptable. And the university chose to just restrict their participation for 1 year. It's important for us to move quickly on this now so that fraternities know that this type of behavior is unacceptable, regardless of whatever process you want to educate your new members on. There's no process. There's no educational value that comes in taking away someone's rights to independence. There's no educational value that comes with making somebody hold raw ice in their hand. There's no educational value in some of the things that Lambda did. And if they wanted to do these things, they should have found a more meaningful way to convey that message. And the university took an approach that said, this really doesn't matter to us, but it should. It matters to me. It matters to many other people who've been hurt in the processes of hazing, and hazing is serious. And in the letter that Jesse read out earlier tonight, I explained the different segments of hazing violations that each one of these actions pertain to, but the university didn't take this evidence seriously. And attached to the appendix of this legislation is that redacted letter that Jesse read earlier, if anyone needs to reference it. But I think, Edmund, your next step would perhaps want to be to ask one of your fellow senators for a motion to suspend that rule in the standard operating procedures.
Yes, Gia.
Yeah, I do motion to suspend the bylaws so that we can vote tonight, because I don't think we should re-traumatize people by dragging this out and having to re-explain stories. I know for me personally, I don't want my section read again, because that is very personal and hurt me a lot. So I'd appreciate it if we could vote on this tonight and suspend the bylaws to do that. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Gia. Could someone yield their time to Austin, please?
I yield my.
Before Austin talks, Gia made a formal motion to suspend the rule, so it needs to follow that second dissent process first.
I second Gia's motion.
Any dissent?
I do, but technically I'm not a senator, so that's the reason why I put an X.
But there's no dissent from us, Senator, correct? If there is, can you put a D in the chat box?
Seeing that there's none, Austin, would you like to go ahead and speak?
What I was trying to say is that in the legislation where we adopted this new format for legislation, there is a provision that says that you cannot suspend that rule to pass in the same night. It has to go to a second reading. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
I have a question if someone can give me their time.
I yield, Ali.
Thank you. Since that is written, does it state how long that we have to wait till the second reading? Could we read this tomorrow and just get this on the way?
If you could if I may speak, you could technically do that. That would be fine. It has to go to a second reading. That's all.
So I would advise a senator to make a motion to reread this legislation.
I make a motion to reread it tomorrow. Can we do that, Ali?
You can do it right now.
Oh, we can do it right now? Oh, okay. Read it a second time. I motion to read it a second time today. Can
Is
we
there
do
a
that?
Second.
Okay. There we go.
Awesome. You can read it a second time, correct?
Sure. There's no provision that says you can't do that in the same meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
you can.
Peyton said yes, we can.
Can I make a motion real quick, Ali?
Yeah, go ahead.
Motion to view as read for the second reading.
Second it.
Any abstentions? Seeing none. Before we do that, there are a couple people in the chat that I didn't get to. David Stevens, you had something to say?
Yeah, I had a brief question of clarity. At the end of your bill, you requested that punishment be extended to all current leaders of the chapter. Several of us don't know anything about this other than what you've told us. So I don't know, are these members current members? Are these current members also those who were involved in this previous activity you're alleging? That was 2 years, that was a year ago, I assume, in 2019. Are these the same people? Or are we asking that other people be punished for things they weren't involved in? Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for that clarifying question. So to respond to that, the first section of the therefore let it be enacted clause asks the university to reconsider the probation of Lambda Chi Alpha for 3 years. It only comes as a strong recommendation from the student government, as that is not within our purview. Then it subsequently asks that if the university decides to suspend this organization, they also have to remove their student leaders from leadership roles within the Interfraternal Council and the Fraternity and Sorority Life Association. This segment is added here because while Lambda Chi Alpha is currently on a restricted version of a probation, their brothers are still allowed to hold leadership roles as role models within the IFC and the FS, the Fraternity and Sorority Life Association. So the reason for that addition is that I do not believe, and the authors of this bill do not believe, that it is possible for an organization with this standing to continue to remain role models in offices within fraternity and sorority life. Does that address your question?
Well, really, it doesn't actually answer the question I asked, which was, are these the same members that you are complaining against?
Correct.
They are? They are, or they're not? Are you saying it doesn't matter if they are or not?
The complaint goes against the fraternity.
Okay.
If I can get some clarification.
Yeah, I was about to tell you.
I'm the president of a Greek council. If any chapter is suspended, then automatically none of their members can hold leadership positions in your council or FSA because their chapter is no longer in good standing, if that makes sense. So like if they were put on a probation period for 3 years, their members would automatically have to give up those positions because you can't be on the council if your org's no longer recognized on campus.
Edmund, in response.
I think I know. Dave, are you trying to ask if the people who were in like these exact, like, you know, president, vice president of the organization last year are still in that current position? Is that what you're asking?
Right.
Okay. You know, I don't know, but I do know, speaking like as someone who is vice president of the council, it's not necessarily the leadership positions that matter, because if you were there and you didn't speak up, you condoned it. So therefore you were, and you're an accessory of it. So I don't necessarily know if that part will matter as much, like if it's the same people, because if they were still present and, you know, they're still part of the organization, they signed off on the actions that were taken.
To provide some additional context, that's added there because of how the Fraternity and Sorority Life Handbook explains that once an organization is placed on probation, that action has to follow. So we kind of have no control over that. I don't know what Lambda's current leadership looks like. I can say that the same president who authorized this new member education process last year is still this organization's president this year, if that provides any further context.
Just real quick, Jesse has a point of clarification.
Just to like clarify further, if you look on UNCG's FSL website and you go to the IFC page, the 2020 IFC Executive Board is as follows: President Manuel Valdez, VP Admin Affairs Brandon McNelia, VP of Recruitment Chris Cahoot, VP of Public Relations Marcus McNeely, VP of Philanthropy Javier Diaz, Risk Management Isaiah Hamilton, and VP of Scholarship Jake Drum. If you would like to research said individuals to find out what chapter they belong to, but that is currently the IFC Executive Board.
Manny.
Hey, y'all. So, like you said, I'm the president of IFC. Milan, I just want to let you know that I hear you. I stand with you, and I support you 100% through all this. As of right now, on the IFC Exec Board, we do not have any members from Lambda Chi Alpha. From the IFC bylaws, it states that from the beginning of the semester, we found out that that they were under investigation. And so under the IFC bylaws, any fraternity that is under investigation or suspension from the school is not able to hold any positions on the Interfraternity Council Exec Board.
Thanks, Manny. We have 1 minute remaining.
Motion to extend time by 5 minutes.
All right, thank you. If anyone else has anything to say, please drop it next. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm looking online to see if I can find some sort of like not punishment guidelines, but just something that we can use as a way to have that 3-year suspension substantiated, because I feel like a lot of that's up to the discretion of the administration. So I don't want to lowball it because this behavior goes against our code of conduct, absolutely. And I also don't want to shoot too high and get it immediately shot down. So I'm not sure if there's anything we can, cross-check that with, or any previous suspensions with similar infractions on the code of conduct that we can compare this with.
May I respond?
Yeah, go ahead, Milan.
So I will refer some of this over to Attorney General Payton. There is not a very rigid university document that provides sanctions for organizations. Similarly to like a court structure, it's based off of precedent. This 3-year number was added here by me based off of precedents that other Greek organizations that have committed physical hazing violations have received. It's very much so up to the discretion of the hearing officer in the Office of Rights and Responsibilities. This year, that hearing officer, in this case, decided that they deserved just a restricted probation for a year. I think that many of us can agree, and I definitely agree, that that's absolutely ridiculous. But Payne, are you aware of any specified guidelines? From my understanding, Dean Barker said that they're not any.
May I respond, Ollie?
Yeah, go ahead, Payne.
Yeah, so Milan, you are correct. That's correct. There are no specified guidelines at the moment. I will say that, yeah, the sanctioning, while it is definitely based on precedent and there are established guidelines for sanctioning in certain situations, it is somewhat up to the discretion of the hearing officer and of the panel in the event that it's a panel hearing.
And just going in order, who'd up next on the chat? Kellen?
Yeah, my point was mainly to Daniel's as far as, recommending what the punishment should be. I wasn't sure. I have no involvement in Greek life, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't over punishing. Again, what happened was completely wrong. I was disgusted reading the statement. I just wanted to make sure that this didn't get thrown out specifically because of a number as far as a recommended punishment. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was, I think in the second or third whereas clause, harassment was spelled incorrectly. Yeah, it was the first whereas clause.
Thank you,
And
Kevin.
I believe it says gender as well instead of gender.
I would like to say something along the lines of like, I guess the threshold of suspension. My Greek organization was suspended for 3 to 4 years with little to no real evidence, which runs very opposite of what's happening in this situation. So I do question the integrity of the judicial process of that office, because you can't suspend one Greek org for 3 to 4 years with no real evidence and still do, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not consistent at all what's happening to Greek organizations. I mean, organizations are getting suspended this year just off of he said, she said information being sent to the office, which is also unrealistic. When you also have Greek orgs making racial slurs on social media and they still hold positions on this campus, I think that the university needs to look into Greek life as a whole and look into the judicial process, because it's very inconsistent. And I think we all deserve a clear indication of what will happen when you get in trouble, because going at it by the hip really doesn't help anyone out at this point.
Thanks for
I know that didn't make sense, but by the message in the group chat, I guess y'all got the gist of the message.
Yeah, you definitely
Did I respond?
My fault. Yeah, go ahead, Milan.
Cool. I also selected the 3 years here. Do we need to extend time? Okay. As a student, I would like to be able to go to a college campus and not have to consistently see this organization recruiting members who I know are being hurt in the process. And the 3-year marker provides me the opportunity to graduate this year and attend UNCG for graduate school 2 years, and then provides this fraternity the opportunity to come back. It is, and Peyton can attest to this, oftentimes a decision, or sometimes a decision of hearing panels to suspend a student who's violated another student for the duration of that student's time at UNCG. I know when I worked on the conduct team, that is something that I regularly put forward. So the 3 years marker is in compliance with standard suspensions that we've seen for fraternities and sororities over the years, but also provides me, the student, and Gia, another student who was impacted by this, the opportunity to graduate, attend grad school here, as it is a primary choice, and then provides this organization the opportunity to return.
Thank you, Milan. I definitely wanted to say that I believe that Irving's point did substantiate what Daniel was asking earlier about, like, why 3 years, and as well as the point you just made. I definitely think that's very fair. But going in order once again, Jesse, did you still have a point of clarification?
Yes. If you also go on FSL's website, you can read the IFC constitution and bylaws, and it kind of outlines some processes of the judicial part. If that's something you're curious reading, as well as like some other rules and regulations that they follow.
Thanks, Jesse. Peyton, did you still have something to say?
I was also gonna add, I've talked to a few administration leaders about like suspending organizations for 3 to 4 years. Me personally, I don't agree with that unless there's some educational aspect to it. So if we're still in question and answer, I would ask if you could add a whereas clause outlining some educational consequences you would like Lambda Chi Alpha to go through, because suspending them for 3 to 4 years won't really solve the issue of hazing. It won't really do anything. I think that the chapter needs to learn from their mistakes, just like other chapters have to when they're suspended. And yeah, speaking from experience, suspending someone from 3 to 4 years does not change anything unless they're working to better themselves as people.
Irving, I appreciate that, but next time could you please put an X in the chat? I'm just going through the list.
I did put an X in the chat, but okay.
I know, but I'm going down. I'm still have like 3 people ahead of you. Peyton, did you still have something to say?
No, not really. I was just going to say that I dropped the student code of conduct link in the chat if anyone wants to refer back to that in their considerations of this legislation. And then if anyone has any questions about the hearing process or anything, just let me know.
Edmund, do you still have a point of clarification?
I don't know.
And then Daniel, did you have anything in response?
No, I yield my time.
Okay, I believe that's everyone's caught up. You all want to move into a period of discussion or?
Motion to move into a period of discussion.
I second that.
If you have anything to say, please drop an X in the chat. Manny.
Hey y'all. I just want to say that being the IFC president, it has been very challenging this past year. Like there has been a lot of like instances where Irving mentioned like there was times there were some members within the chapters here that have said some racist remarks and everything, and I have also been in discussion with FSO leaders, and it almost seems like sometimes seems like my voice isn't always heard, or like stuff that I would want to do doesn't happen. It's almost like the same thing where people critique SGA for doing certain things, and then it's really up to faculty. So I really, really respect you, Milan, for coming out and sharing this story, because these are stories that sometimes people don't want to share. And like you said, it hurt a lot. And I stand with you and I support you 100% in everything in all of this, because this by any means is not an accurate representation of the IFC Council here or members of the IFC chapters here, because this is not, all of this information has been very new to me. I haven't really had a lot of information regarding this whole situation, so this is all just very shocking to me as far as what they did and everything that just came out. But I just want to say that by no means is this chapter like all this is representative of the IFC and what our values are here at UNCG. And I definitely want to reiterate what Irving was saying, is that when it comes to new member processes and new member education, there are so many ways to go about educating your members and building a brotherhood based on foundations that are like your values and your true values. And so being a new member educator myself in the past, I know there are so many resources out there that they could have done to prevent all of this, and really showed you what Greek life was about and what a strong brotherhood was about. And like Irving was saying earlier, we really need, if we do go along with this, we really do need to have more educational resources for them alongside just not having a 3-year probation or 3-year suspension, because all of this is not representable at all of a Greek community or a chapter. But I do really appreciate you for speaking out, Milan, because this story needs to be heard.
Thanks, Manny. Not to skip the line, but Milan, did you have something to say in response?
Yes, I was going to say thank you so much, Manny and Irving, for that. I know that Edmund, Gia, and I are receptive to any friendly amendments to add educational sanctioning to the request associated with this legislation, as it is our priority to provide justice. But as a student affairs future professional, it is also my priority in understanding that there cannot be just retributive justice, but restorative. And so if there's a friendly amendment from Irving, Manny, or anyone else that wants to add in some educational sanctions to go along with this recommendation, we would be very receptive to that.
Thanks, Milan. Gia?
Yeah, I was just gonna actually drop a friendly amendment, Milan, maybe doing like a whereas to like, they should do like a training with FSL on hazing, or I don't know what trainings there are out there on hazing. And maybe like having them do like a safe zone training or trans zone training, or training with OIE about how to interact with people with differing abilities, just so they can get that education before coming back on campus, because if you don't address the behavior, then nothing's going to change just from a suspension.
Milan, do you accept that friendly amendment? Milan?
Yes, I do accept this friendly amendment. I'm adding it to the legislation now, and I'll highlight in yellow the changes. Apologize for the typos here.
Charles?
Yeah, so just echoing off of what Gia had said about the educational part of the punishment, I was looking for specifics like she had mentioned, just to make sure that this is something that does not happen again in the future to anyone else who may be pledging to any fraternity or sorority, Greek life, here at UNCG. I don't know personally of any the proper education that should be implemented, but I feel that what Gia had mentioned was sufficient.
Thanks, Charles. Does anyone else have any friendly amendments? Manny?
I don't know if this could be added into this now, but I've worked on our CFO board for my fraternity, and when we came into instances like this of hazing and stuff, we could I know I could talk to them, but I know that Lambda Nationals probably has it as well, but possibly making like an individualized chapter improvement plan, kind of like basing off like hazing, like having them do or lead like hazing workshops and what hazing looks like and stuff like that. But just to make it more discreet and make it like in writing, like exactly what they have to do, and like for them to check, like for them to hit off like check boxes to make sure that they understand what they did and everything that accompanies that.
Absolutely, Manny. I went ahead and added that friendly amendment there, but I did want to provide for context that Lambda's nationals are already requiring them to do this.
Okay, awesome.
Could someone make a motion to extend discussion by 5 minutes?
Make a motion to extend discussion by 5.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Gia?
Also, if you could add trans on, Milan, that'd be great.
Does anyone else have any friendly amendments? Someone can yield me their time. Oh, never mind. You can go ahead.
I was gonna say that they could also participate in stuff where it promotes diversity, equity, inclusion, like within SGA. Maybe they can collaborate with SGA to understand those particles within.
Milan, do you accept that friendly amendment?
I do.
Okay. Irvin?
I was gonna say, just to add on, I guess, advice. When my chapter got suspended, we were publicly humiliated by the university, UNCG-PD, and other administrators and students with false information. Although I do think that justice needs to be served in this situation, we also need to protect other students on this campus so no one ever has to go through what my chapter went through. So I urge you all not to spread false information or publicly, I guess, attack any members of Lambda Chi Alpha, because they don't, like, everybody makes mistakes. And at this point, we're just trying to make sure they learn from their mistakes and not publicly attack them for their past actions.
I echo what Irving said. Ultimately, I worked really hard to kind of like redact the letter that I shared with y'all, and kind of make sure that I'm presenting you the facts of the matter. But I would really encourage us to go through the formal route of passing this legislation and advocating with university administration to get this passed, which is something that I've taken a lot of care to do. And I would appreciate if once I turn this over to your hands as the Senate, you would continue to do the same.
If someone can give me their time, please.
I yield my time.
Thank you. Milan, at the top you have 9807, which is the correct number, but throughout the rest of the document you have 9806. Would you mind if I updated that, or would you like to do it?
You go ahead, you can edit that.
Thank you. Also, if someone could give me their time again. Thank you. You're supposed to have like a little signature section at the bottom. If you wouldn't mind, could I add that as well?
Go ahead.
Ali, we can, like, a lot of this is just like little edit error things. Like, we can fix that through legislative committee on our end.
Okay, I just wanted to knock it out so we can get this passed tonight.
Yeah, like we can just update those little things, like, because it's not changing anything whenever we like certify and make it proper.
Also, Milan, Jesse would like to be added as a signatory.
Approved.
You want me to go ahead and type it? There's going to be a bunch of people, I guarantee you.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you spell Kaylee's name right?
I apologize. I was just reading through the chat.
Good.
Did everyone make sure I spelled their names correctly? In the meantime, Gia.
Oh, I was just gonna say if we didn't have anything, just a motion to move into voting.
Time period has now ended, so unless there's a motion to extend, we'll be moving into voting on this piece.
Ava, did I spell your name correctly? Did someone make a motion?
You did, yeah. I second her motion.
Any abstentions? Seeing none, Jesse, if you wouldn't mind dropping the link in the chat.
Yeah, give me just a second to make it.
Yeah, take your time. And can everyone please vote so we can get this passed?
There's the one. Need 6 more. Need 1 more. Oh, got all the it's 24. Jesse, if you want to go ahead and call it. Of 20 to 2, the piece passes.
Congratulations, Milan.
Thank you, Senate. I really appreciate it. I think that this is a big step in supporting students and honing into our Greek community, the values that we actually stand for, not things that we don't condone. I really appreciate all of you listening to the letter, working through areas that we may not all have been knowledgeable on, and getting through this together. I think this is a definition of what the student government working together looks like. We were able to add some changes to this and kind of further support our Greek community. So I really appreciate all of you. And I look forward to working with some of the SGA Ledge and exec team to further advocate for this legislation to administration, as it is only a recommendation.
Thank you again, Milano. We definitely appreciate your time and your vulnerability.
To respond, Edmund, yes, the ledge can be posted on the IG, just not the letter, because I don't want to put people's names and stuff out there like that.
Yeah, okay, awesome. That sounds good.
I'm just asking, like, for the rest of the student government, could that be added to the drive? I don't think it's anywhere in there. The legislation. Thanks.
We can go ahead and move into reports. Mr. President.
Yes, sir. So, as always, contact information, office hours. What I've been up to this week is did the Glenwood Urban Farm. It was really good to help out with them again. I watched the election, as probably all of you have. You know, a lot is going on right now, so definitely make sure that you're taking care of yourself and checking your mental health, as obviously this time can be very difficult. I met with Anthony, Emma, and Ali last week. Those meetings went really well. It was really good to catch up with Anthony, and good to meet with Emma and Ali. Been working on academic relief advocacy to the provost and faculty senate. You all probably saw in the group chat that there is a lot of discussion about what will the academic package include. You saw the withdrawal extension has been included, but we are still waiting to know about satisfactory and unsatisfactory grading, and if that will be added at all, or in any form. Obviously, that is a big decision to be made. So definitely we'll be waiting to hear back over the next couple of weeks as the semester wraps up. On Monday, I celebrated my birthday. As you can see, there's a rock that was left in Greensboro, one more chapter. I just thought that was fitting. And I went fishing for my birthday. That was a good time. Got skunked on fish, but I definitely caught some leaves and some twigs. So I guess that was a good time. And then I met with Grace, the person who's running the Glenwood Urban Farm. We talked about ways that we can expand it and how to make it sustainable in the long run, both financially and in support. So as always, a plug for them that if you are interested in helping out, they do Monday and Wednesday meetings, 2 to 4 p.m. They're also doing one this Saturday, November 14th. So if you're interested, definitely let me know. We can get you like set up to come help out. You don't have to have any experience beforehand, but it's very important that we as UNCG students can give back to the Glenwood community in any way that we can. That is very important for us, especially as student leaders. So what I'll be doing coming up is the Glenwood Urban Farm on the 14th. I'll be meeting with Nagla and the rest of the GSA leadership tomorrow, doing ASG this weekend as well. I'll also be speaking at the UNCG Foundation Board meeting to talk about university advancement and what SGA is doing. And that BLM meeting will be happening at some point this week. So I would like to close out with, yeah, I watched the multi-day election as well at Irving. So what I wanted to close out with, if you need to contact me, reach out to me, definitely, you know, just send me an email, a text message, whatever works best for you. I would love to meet with you, discuss anything, whether that be people in the student government or students who are watching. I'm always open to hear from you, hear your concerns. So definitely feel free to reach out. And that's all I have. So thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Austin. Hayden?
Hey everyone. I hope everyone's having a good week so far. I was about to say I hope everyone had a good week, but it's only Tuesday. It feels like it's been a lifetime. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Those are my office hours, Monday and Friday, 10 to 1 virtually, Tuesday, Thursday, 2 to 4 in person. If anyone needs me, you can text me, email me, send me a message in the group me, whatever you want to do. Yeah, so just what I've been up to, executive council meeting. I've been connecting with Dean Hamilton regarding student concerns. I know Ollie has been doing that as well. I've been text banking for the Georgia runoff elections. That's been really interesting. They're super important. That will decide the fate of the Senate. So yeah. Let's see. I also ran a conduct team meeting that was a little bit more informal on the 6th. Basically just gave an open space to my conduct team to debrief about the election, ask questions, chat about whatever they wanted to. So that was like a really nice thing to just have that space for students to do that. Been doing a lot of schoolwork, preparing for finals, that kind of thing. I've had several meetings with student advisors over the past couple of weeks. I have more meetings with student advisors the rest of the week, so I'm looking forward to that. I talked to the news on, I guess that was Friday, about mental health resources that are offered through UNCG's Counseling Center, so that was a really good discussion. I did not watch the tape because I hate listening to myself talk, but I did do that. And my life has been hectic, so I don't have any pictures, but I do have a quote. This one really spoke to me, so I don't know. I hope it speaks to somebody else. You do not have to work yourself to the point of burnout to prove that you are dedicated to your dreams. You are most effective when your cup is full. Yeah, so coming up, another exec council meeting on the 16th. Conduct team meeting on the 20th, meeting with Austin, Ali, and Meredith as needed. I've been chatting with Kaylee about the governing docs committee, so we're hoping to kind of like pull that together shortly. I know everyone's lives have been crazy recently, so I'm hoping to get that up and running soon in a more effective way. More hearings this week and next week, and then tomorrow I'm a Reynolds Scholar through the Honors College, so I'm doing a Scholar's Advantage interview on building an application focused mindset and applying for opportunities. So I'm really excited about that.
Thanks, Peyton. All right, my office hours are up there. There's my email once again. What I've been up to, I had a meeting with Edmund and Milan today. Executive council meeting on this past Monday, tuition and fee committee meetings. I put an S there because I've been slammed with that. I've met with Dr. Boyette quite a few times, who is the co-chair for the committee. Schedule a meeting with Dr. Hamilton for academic relief. It took me 2 weeks to get a meeting with him. I know he's busy, but I'm definitely trying to fight for academic relief and at least bring it up to see what they're doing and to keep urging them for it. I did conduct a couple of Senator one-on-ones last week. I would like to have the rest of you before the end of the semester, so if you could please contact Asia, and then we'll get a date and time for us to have our one-on-one. For my scholarship, I did have a bi-weekly meeting, and then today, right before Senate at 6 p.m., I had the tuition and fees student forum. Those usually take place in person in an auditorium or something like that, but we did have it over Zoom, and I appreciate the students who came out. There was only a couple. And then this past weekend, I did go back home to Raleigh, so there's just a couple pictures there. What's coming up for me? I have still planning other roundtables, planning more outreach initiatives. Definitely want to get through these one-on-ones, scheduling speakers for future meetings, executive council meetings, which we have weekly. You'll definitely see me at the farm again with Austin. We do this every Wednesday, and hopefully we can do it Saturday. I know it's going to rain at some point. ASG this weekend as well, and then the meeting with Dr. Hamilton, as I mentioned, this Thursday. And I'm going to have a couple other students on there, so we have a couple different viewing points, so then they know it's not just me coming at them from student government, it's other students that are coming from different organizations. if you'd like to attend that meeting, I would definitely love that. Just text me, email me, or something like that, or just message me in the chat on Zoom, and I can figure that out. And then working on COVID stuff, and then meetings with Austin and Peyton. And then the picture with the husky, that's when I went home. That's one of my friend's dogs, and he just got a cat as well. And then on the right, that is Milan's dog. I have never seen Milan's dog ever run around, but today was the first day, and she went nuts, and like we threw a ball around the SGA office and things like that. And then she got really tired, and that's just a picture of her from today. Moving into senator forum, any senator can speak up to 2 minutes on anything pertaining to SGA. Just drop an X in the chat. Is there anyone for senator forum? Seeing none, we can move into announcements. Any member of SGA can speak up to 2 minutes about any announcements that they have. Irving.
The student leaders roundtable tomorrow with the chancellor and Dr. Akins and Dr. Craig and everybody else that's important on this campus. If y'all have any questions or concerns you want me to bring up, just let me know so we can make this meeting worthwhile. Besides that, I hope everyone has a great and blessed week.
Thanks, Irving. I'm on that meeting as well, so if any of you want to just throw any questions or statements our ways, we could definitely bring them up. Daniel?
Hi, so stemming from the conversation we had over GroupMe concerning the academic relief, I wrote something that I'd like to announce to you all, and just give me a moment. I'm pulling it up now as we speak. All right, I spoke to Edmund. He and I are going to be creating an ad hoc committee to organize the protest that's going to be geared toward the administration. And the document I wrote states, we, the representatives of the student body, were elected to represent the interests and the well-being of the students of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. We function as a vector of our fellow students, providing a voice by which we then communicate to the staff. Our voice, as well as students, has fallen on deaf ears. The time for half measures is over. Before us, we're seeing almost 700 students sign a petition that states, quote, "It appears to us that the faculty of UNCG has forgotten that its students are still adjusting to life in a pandemic. We are still adjusting to our own decline in mental health due to some of the staff's unemphatic behavior towards their own students," end quote. Perhaps most significantly, the petition states, quote, "For a university that champions how much they care about their students, we have yet to actually see UNCG take the necessary actions," end quote. Edmund and I are creating the ad hoc committee to organize a demonstration to the administrative staff at UNCG. We believe having a committee will allow us to properly deliberate, plan, and recruit a substantial amount of students who want to make sure their voice is heard. SGA will be the primary sponsor and host of this demonstration. It is with sound mind that this will help strengthen our relationship with the student body and will provide us with the best opportunity to influence the administration's decision for a complete academic relief package. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Austin.
Hey everyone. So I just wanted to throw this out there that just keep in mind that we are a professional student organization and that we should be operating with absolute professionalism. That includes ensuring that we're responding promptly through email and just communicating effectively throughout. I just wanted to include that as that concern was raised to me recently. So just keep that in mind and keep on doing good. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Austin. Merve?
Thank you. Guys, if any of you, if you would like to be part of any research, there are a lot of opportunities going on as a part of Graduate Student Association, and then Graduate Student Representative in the SGA committee. So if any of you interested in research opportunities and research presentation, I can give you a couple of resources to join and present your research, and if you would like to get experience in the labs. So even not only in UNCG, at Duke, Chapel Hill, and Wake Forest universities, we have a couple of opportunities. So I just want to let you know, you don't have to be in master's or PhD program to involve in research. Just I want you to be aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Merve. I don't want to skip you, Chris, but Irving, in response to earlier.
I was just gonna say, I don't know who brought up that we're being unprofessional, but we've time and time again have tried to reach out to Faculty Senate as professional as possible and other administrators on this campus, or whoever, but we're not getting a response from them, and it takes 2 weeks to get a response, 2 weeks to schedule a meeting, and we constantly, as a student body, practically gets thrown on the bus all over the place because everyone thinks that we make decisions when we only can make recommendations. So I agree that we need to move forward in this process to get what the students deserve.
Thanks, Irving. Daniel, in response.
Yes, thank you, Irving, for saying that. And I have a question concerning the professionalism. I had full intentions of hosting the protest in part with SGA with pure professionalism. I didn't want to have any profanity and any of the chants that we might decide to use. This, again, is in the early stages of creation. So I would like for us to all come together with students as well and just get the message out there and make sure that everyone is safe, everyone's using the proper, face masks, social distancing. I don't want to give the SGA the wrong impression to everyone else, especially the administration, when we're trying to advise and provide, what the students are actually wanting here. So if I can get some clarification on the professionalism, if having a protest would be deemed not professional in the eyes of the administration, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess if I could respond to you, Daniel. I'm pretty sure I said it, but if I didn't, my comments were not related to your comments about the protest or anything like that. Two completely separate things just during announcements. So I apologize if there's any confusion.
Oh, okay, yeah. Irving's follow-up with that, I thought it was in response to yours.
No.
Okay, all right, my apologies.
All good.
Thank you both. Peyton, in response.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what I think Austin was trying to say. Again, I'm not sure if what student brought up a concern that potentially we were being unprofessional, but I really liked that he mentioned that we need to be responding to anything promptly. And I just wanted to say too, I feel like everyone already knows this, but I feel like I needed to hear it. So I'm just going to share. It's okay to not have an answer. Like if a student asks you a question and you don't know an answer, just find someone who can give them the answer. I had a student ask me a question that I couldn't answer. So I said, hey, email Austin and he's going to be able to answer your question. And then that's the end of it. So don't not answer a student or give them something incorrect just because you want to have an answer.
Thanks, Peyton. And finally, sorry, Chris, I skipped you this whole time. Back to Chris.
You're good. I just wanted to reiterate that I met with the Academic Policies and Regulations Committee today. And so I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my message earlier in the group chat, but Faculty Senate is meeting tomorrow to vote on academic relief. So I did put notes together from what I took in the meeting. So those are, like I said, on my drive folder. So I encourage everybody to look at that to see where they currently are in the process of academic relief and what they're looking at. And they're also looking at revising the grade replacement language and form. So that's on there as well.
Thanks, Chris. Saheem.
Just a quick announcement, like Ollie and Austin has said, ASG will be this weekend. So if you guys want to know anything or need any information about ASG, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can drop my email in the chat, as well as, I don't know if Milan is still here. Milan is actually the vice president of government outreach. So if you have anything for him as well, he'll probably love to have you to reach out to him as well.
Thanks, Naeem. Yeah, Milan's still here, I believe. Austin.
Yeah, just one final thing. I just wanted to throw out, as the semester is wrapping up, a big thank you to all those who have, actively worked to help us in everything that we have done for student government. I mentioned last night that this may not be a glamorous job, but it's our jobs. So I think that, it is very commendable that everyone who has been actively participating to advocate for students on academic relief, advocating in Greek life, whatever that may look like in your student leadership. I just want to commend you, congratulate you on your incredible efforts. And definitely congratulate the two individuals that I know of that are graduating, for their service to student government. They, across the board, you all have done wonderful, and I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Austin. Does anyone else have anything to say for announcements? All right. Seeing none. Asia, if you wouldn't mind doing roll call, and thank you.
Okay, so once again, if you hear your name, please listen and say here. Awa?
Here.
Mason?
Here.
David Gonzalez?
Here.
Leslie?
Here.
Jalen? Okay. Haas?
Here.
Salamani?
Here.
Kendall?
Here.
Luis? Gia?
Here.
Manuel?
Here.
Here. Tessie? Tessie? Shannon?
Here.
Anthony?
Here.
Charles?
Here.
David Stevens?
Here.
Daniel?
Here.
Edmund?
Here.
Carmen?
Here.
Jared?
Here.
Nicolette? Tiana?
Here.
Nadira? Kellen?
Here.
Jessica?
Here.
Maya?
Here.
James?
Here.
Taylor?
Here.
Jocelyn?
Here.
Charles? Sparks? No. Okay.
Also, Tessie said she is here if you missed her. Thanks, Aisha. Also, one side note, just a reminder to stay on the meeting till I close it, please. I saw the number drop from 44 to 41. Thank you. During this meeting at 9:25 p.m.,